Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the business and the SillyVille editions. These are recorded usually Friday live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we're recording on Saturday because I had no internet yesterday. But anyway, you can catch the show live on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, Twitch, and D-Live, and possibly some more in the future. So you can go ahead and have a look at that. And with that, let's go ahead and jump right on into the news. First, another gravestone in the Google graveyard. Google kills off Stadia. It was supposed to be this amazing cloud-operated video game system, and Google apparently never did good with it. They kill Stadia. They are going to refund all game purchases. Of course, if you have the controllers laying around as of right now, they are garbage. But if Google pushes an update and fixes a few of the components, you could actually use them with other devices. And so it'd be interesting to see if Google could at least do that, or if they could maybe release some of the code for the controllers and let the hardware hackers figure it out and release it. That would be kind of cool. But as of right now, Stadia is officially DOA, and sorry, no more Stadia for you. For you Mac users out there, Logitech is now reworking 4 of the most popular accessories just for Mac users. So if you do like Mac, or at least have to use a Mac for some component of your workflow, and you're sick of paying exorbitant prices for the official Apple devices, Logitech devices are really good. I use them for most of my devices. Keyboards, mice, my webcam, not my DSL. That one right there. The one looking at you guys is full DSLR. But the web camera, like the webcam, like the kitty cam, looking at the kitty cat's belly, that one's a Logitech as well. Well, they are now redesigning these for Mac users. And no word if Apple is suing them yet, but but with that, they have an MX Mechanical Mini, MX Master 35 Lift, and K380. Now we'll have Mac specified editions. So the 2 keyboards, MX Mini and K380, will now have specialty keys for Mac, the Apple Command key, the Option key specific for the Mac OS. Logitech, I am waiting for my Linux base key. You hear me, Logitech? I want the Linux keyboard. I'll pay a premium for the Linux keyboard. I'm sure somebody has it out there somewhere. I'm not paying that much of a premium, but if you know where I can get myself a Linux keyboard, let me know. I might be interested. All right. And a little discussion about, should you monitor your remote workers? So The Guardian says, yes, you should monitor your remote workers, but not because you don't trust them. Of course, a lot of the monitoring going on in the world is monitoring, are you actually at the work? It's going to take screenshots. Make sure you're using applications. Basically, it's nanny crap that no business ever should put on their employees' computers, particularly when you force them to work at home for something somewhat resembling flu-like symptoms, and you force them to work at home. Be like, on your personal computer that you're forced to work at home, you're installing our software. No. Provide me a computer and I'll think about it. Just think about it. And you better believe in my setup. I'm going to set your computer here, and my computer is going to be right behind it. I'm going to be on that computer doing what I want, and then you can watch me on this little one all you want. All right? If you don't trust me that much. But what they're saying in this article is, no, it's not because you don't trust them, but you want to monitor them because you don't trust them to make sure that they're not falling prey to common scams and stuff like that. So basically, this is just The Guardian trying to kiss Corporation Heine over saying, oh, yes, you need to monitor people, but not because you don't trust them, just that you don't trust them. And they have to do with this. So does this mean you shouldn't be monitoring them while they're working at home? Why? Because your remote employees, even your best ones, are still causing you a problem, a security problem. We're going to get, based on the title down there, into where probably the security problem is coming from. According to various sources, the FBI saw a 300% increase in reported cybercrime attacks since the Kufis, and cybersecurity predictions reveal that U.S. is going to be a soft target for more than half of the cybercrimes in another 5 years. Number one reason is because you and me and our employees are working from home, and our home environments are very insecure. Okay, so monitoring them is not going to help the insecurity. Teaching them security policies and giving them hardened equipment is going to help. So issue them all a computer to work in their home office, lock that thing down to all ends, and don't worry about it. We don't need to monitor them for this alleged idea of possibly being a soft target. I mean, what are you talking about? Okay, so you're going to monitor them to watch the hackers come in and steal your data. No, harden it to begin with, and it won't be much of a problem. We can start by getting people off the most vulnerable operating systems and give them Linux desktops. There's a good start. And then, hey, maybe lock down a lot of those domains behind host files rather than trying to use apps and spyware equipment and stuff like that. So, with that being said, all right, Cloudflare's back. Cloudflare's Captcha replacement lacks crosswalks, check marks, and Google, and I still don't trust it. Ever use any site on Cloudflare with Tor? Yeah. You look immediately like a robot. This is literally going to lock out Tor. Now, some versions of Tor are getting a little bit better in bypassing some of this, but it's getting kind of crazier as we go. Now they want to do away with CAPTCHAs. Of course, CAPTCHA version 3 is a nightmare from Google. I had a client reach out like, hey, we have this giant cookie thing on our site. We don't know where it came from. It either came from the Google reCAPTCHA version 3 or it came from the plugin he was using for it. He disabled the plugin before I got in there to look at it, and I'm not sure if it was what the problem was specifically. But we just made the decision, let's just kill the contact form. And that solves most of the problems anyway. And so that's what we did. We killed the contact form on the site, and no spam messages and no annoying cookie consent form. Hey, solved the best of both worlds. And then somebody really wants to send you an email, we give them a way to read the email without hopefully a bot being able to read it as well. And so Cloudflare, though, they're trying to get away from it by using the verify system. Again, just like Cloudflare, they're trying to dominate the web, but they're not telling us how they're doing anything. They're not telling us what we're doing. This whole article goes into how bad Google is and says nothing at all about what Cloudflare is trying to do. Since I already have a great mistrust for Cloudflare, I'm not exactly going to be caring for this very much, and I'll use Cloudflare only as much as I have to. Well, Brave, they are trying to block the cookie consent banners as well. Now, we talked about the app, was it last week or the week before? The app that is basically it's finding all the cookie consent and saying, yeah, use them because, you know, just accept everything. And I don't like that approach because I don't want to accept everything. Obviously, it's fine. You do that. You set up your browser to never store any cookies or anything like that. Clears all cache on reload, things like that. And you're going to be safe. It's going to be fine. But no, I don't want to even give anybody the appearance that I'm accepting cookies. So I was really digging into this article to find out, is Brave doing that or something else? Well, it turns out Brave is actually doing something pretty cool here. There's basically a giant filter list system that you can put together. And what it's going to do is it's going to find these forms and it's going to, by default, deselect all cookies as it can. Now, some cases it can't get around it. There's a variety of different things that it uses. There's a variety of questionnaires. And so they talk in here about a few different ways that you could do this. They do have the ability to block the cookie consents inside of the it's inside of the daily builds right now. Hopefully, and with enough testing, this might roll out to the future versions. You set a series of rules. So there's filter lists, adding additional lists, and maintained by your trusted community. Only subscribe to entities you trust. Your browser will periodically check for lists from the URL you enter, revealing your IP address to the server. So basically, there's some things you can do. If you accidentally choose not to enable it, you can turn it on later. Easy list cookie list. Now, one approach which Brave uses is to block the banners, hide them, and modify pages to remove any additional annoyances. So this is first trying to remove them by finding JavaScript or other common tools used. It's going to use things like uBlock system to do the same thing. The other approach, like the one we talked about before, approves all cookie lists and says yes to everything. This does not like that approach. And I like Brave's idea here because they really are doing a better job at saying, hey, we have the information here. we don't want to just say, oh, approve everything, because Brave wants to disapprove all of that kind of stuff. They don't want any tracking, is what their goal is. And so their approach tries to figure out how to reject all possible cookies. Of course, they get into the next block of the article here from Brave's blog post about it. Google is making it hard to block cookie banners, as well as ads, as well as a bunch of other stuff, because, yeah, Google is about as evil as they get. And so this is one of the problems and issues. So Brave's always fighting to get around this, and who knows what's going to happen. And on to our feature story. More non-IT workers say they're having to do IT tasks now. So let's go back to the beginning of the weekly news roundup for this edition. And hey, there's more cybersecurity issues. Yeah, it's because of this. Companies want to skimp on IT. They don't understand the concept of backups. They don't want to pay money for a good backup or for a good update system. They don't want to pay people to monitor things. They just want to pay some cheap contractor enough to come in, get the system working. They see, oh, this does exactly what I want it to do. And then it sits back and they just don't maintain it, and they don't have anybody. And then, oh, Bob down in cubicle 3, he's really good with computers. Go ask Bob. And then they just push all this IT stuff back on Bob. And Bob really doesn't know much more than he's slightly above average, the average guy. I mean, he knows the hotkeys here, guys. I mean, he knows the hotkeys. And so the guy that knows the hotkeys becomes the computer expert in the land of computer infidels. And the reality is, here is that the people in the world, despite being raised in this computer age, we are not computer literate as in general in our society. We are in fact computer buffoons. And so companies don't want to pay the IT workers because they don't see the IT maintenance as being a critical infrastructure. And so they're just like, I don't want to deal with any of that. That costs too much money, and I don't see what it's doing. Well, you don't see what it's doing until it fails, is the problem. And so basically what these guys are doing, the research suggests 74% of the IT decision makers surveyed already have decentralized their IT structures, 10% above the global average. As a result, almost all, 99% of all the companies have at least one department running their own applications using low or no code platforms, such as help desk software and remote access tools. Some companies believe that maintaining IT security and quality levels will be challenging moving forward. It has already become clear how machine learning and artificial intelligence will play their parts in organizations' IT moving forward. So these are some of those basic questions that we get moving along with. All right, well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have affiliates today. We are highlighting Linode. And over with Linode, you can get $100 in credit, good for 60 days. You can spin up as many Linodes as you want, test out things up to $100 you can use, and figure out, do you want to use your own servers, your own VPNs, your own hosting accounts, all sorts of other tools. You can have a look at their marketplace for a lot of other cool functions and features that they have. With that, thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you. Oh, never mind. We have SillyVille yet. I almost forgot to go to SillyVille, guys. I must be going crazy because crazy is on the way. All right. So there's a Miami storm drain going crazy as the hurricane approaches Florida. Oh, come on. I think it's because of the security hardening of this browser. All right. Is that it? No, that's not it. Which one was it? There you go. The thing is trying to come out. The thing is trying to come out. I think we have a problem, guys. All right. So, meanwhile in Florida, we're open until the letters fly off this sign. There you go. And kids eat free if they don't blow off the sign as well. Anyway, hurricane goes through, and yeah, that's sad. Well, the LGBT people want representation everywhere, so Netflix says, okay, you got representation. They did a series about Jeffrey Dahmer, who, if you did not know, and I knew this long ago, Jeffrey Dahmer was a proud member of the LGBTQ plus community. He fetishized and fantasized on the men he wanted to do. He would find ways to bring them home. He would kill them and have sex with their bodies. And that's what Jeffrey Dahmer did, making him officially a member of the LGBTQ community. And so Netflix, like, hey, we want representation everywhere. Netflix released the show on Dahmer, the monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer series, and in the original tagging of the film, they had serial killers and true stories, and LGBTQ was in there. Oh, well, that caused a ruckus with those community of psychopaths, and we can't possibly have a guy like that in our system. Just like that's kind of how most of us are anyway. But that's what happened. So after a much backlash, Netflix did remove the LGBTQ plus tag from Jeffrey Dahmer series because they want representation, just not that kind of true story representation. Yikes. All right, well, if you are an overlander, this is extreme e-scooter. Wildest thing you'll see. The Dragonfly Hyperscooter is the Batmobile of e-scooters. Basically, it's an all-terrain e-scooter with a lot of functions to give you some good off-road tools and such. Look at this thing. Definitely overkill for a city street, but you can kind of see that it'll do some fun stuff. You can fold it down, take it with you. Look, it'd be great for going through trails and stuff, but I'm not sure I'd want to run it all downtown, particularly downtown a city with a $1,000 price tag on it. You know, the first homeless bum's going to come by and pluck you off and take it. Well, on to our feature story. The Windows logo isn't even safe from malware. Some Chinese hackers are smuggling dangerous malware inside the Microsoft logo. Of course, we all knew that Microsoft's logo was already malware. As soon as I see that Microsoft logo, I'm thinking malware. I mean, that's the way I always think. The iconic Windows logo is safe from malware anymore. The cyber criminals managed to successfully hide malicious code inside of it. Cybersecurity experts at Symantec claim to have spotted one such campaign using a process of hiding malicious code and otherwise harmless images, otherwise known as stenography. It is usually done to avoid detection by antivirus programs. So basically it's getting out to the government and all sorts of different places. So sending it out in the stock exchanges, all sorts of different places where you can grab the logo. So now, guys, if you're trying to download a Windows logo, you might just be downloading malware instead. But hey, it's only going to run on your Windows computer anyway. Screw it. But there you have it. There you have it. The Windows logo now spreads malware. Finally, the truth is coming home to roost. And if you want to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/TOMM. You can jump on over there. That'll help support all of the different channels that we have. With that, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.